So I want to talk to you about how to actually make merch for TikTok and actually sell it. Okay, the whole thing is you can actually build a full audience on TikTok, but you got to actually find ways to monetize actually this audience. And one way to actually monetize that audience real fast is to actually sell merch. So I want to give you a few ideas when it comes to merch this year through TikTok. So here are the considerations I want you to think about. First of all, TikTok marketing actually is sometimes a mystery, sometimes a certainty, right? When you think about a mystery in the sense that your audience can actually change real fast. Okay, you do not have a loyal audience through a TikTok. People might like actually your product or service today, and tomorrow they might actually like another product or service. So you never are sure about the solidity of that relationship. So you got to constantly work for it, because the whole thing is, I mean, first of all, you amass, let's say, a solid following. That's pretty good. But how do you monetize it if you don't have a deep relationship with that audience? Okay, so I want to really insist on the fact that everything that you are going to hear into this conversation will come from the fact that you need to actually establish a solid relationship with your TikTok audience, and that audience changes all the time. So selling actually a merch is a great way to transform your personal brand on TikTok into a thriving business. This is not just a bunch of likes, a bunch of shares. No, you are talking about ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching in your checking account or savings account. So if you want to actually make merch for TikTok, you need to be creative. You need to be in sync with what your audience wants, because again, going back to what I said, audiences changes all the time. Audiences change all the time. So you got to really be listening to your audience. Okay, why should you make merch for TikTok this year? Well, monetization options on TikTok vary depending on the size of your account and location. So TikTok's creativity program, formerly known as the Creator Fund, for example, is currently available only to US TikTok accounts with more than 10,000 followers. Okay, so if you have more than 10,000 followers, you are able to monetize the audience. Other ways to make money on the platform include collecting tips, offering subscriptions, using Patreon, and partnering with brands to do sponsored content. So now sponsored content is kind of a great way to make money, but make sure that the brand actually is in sync with what you want, your own values, but also the values of your followers. Okay, the whole thing is not just to make some quick cash and really jeopardize the relationship you have with your audience. No, but the best way to monetize your audience is by starting your own business and selling merch on an own channel, like an e-commerce website, means you control the creative look and feel and are not at the mercy of the platform and also algorithm changes. So one thing I want to, let me give you a few ideas when it comes to if you are a TikTok creator, you are able to actually monetize your audience through branded T-shirts and other apparel. You have mugs, water bottles, and housewares. So that's really good from a flexibility point of view. You have stickers. So stickers are pretty good also. You have pins. I mean, think about it. That's really fantastic. You have tattoos also. You have patches. So patches are really pretty popular also when it comes to monetizing your TikTok audience. You also have art prints. Again, everything I'm telling you, just make sure that they are in sync with what your audience wants. So art prints. You also have phone cases and tech accessories, okay? And you also have niche products for a niche audience. So this is kind of cool if you have a niche audience and you want to monetize that niche, that audience real fast, okay? So bottom line here is what? You have flexibility, okay? There are a number of products you can customize to sell as merch to your TikTok fans. This range from the most obvious items like t-shirts and mugs to niche products that are a fit for your specific account theme or follower interest, right? It's one of those things where you have to make sure that it works with your audience. So number one, you have branded t-shirts and other apparel. Fantastic, really fast to make. Okay, start selling merch like print on demand hats to test your designs and find out what your audience really prefers. It's all about what your audience wants. So this is really good, and apparel is the bread and butter of creator merch, and so that's really good. You can print your logos, you can print your likeness, catchphrase, or designs on a number of apparel items easily using either print on demand or crafting them yourself. You can really do it yourself. So you have also a mugs, water bottles, and housewares. So that's really good also. Okay. So when you think about merch for TikTok, I want you to think about affordability. I want you to think about flexibility also. Okay. And also, if you want to really grow beyond the normal items, you can actually try pillows, beach towels, and blankets. Okay, that's really good. So if you are a maker, consider a DIY approach to creating home goods, and you can make your own, let's say, branded uh, candles, for instance, from scratch, or you can stitch your catchphrase onto a pillow sham. So you have a lot of flexibility. I mean, I have an entire show that is focused on how to create candles this year. So if you're interested, you want to watch that show. So if you want to make a merch for TikTok this year, besides branded T-shirts and other apparel, mugs, water bottles, and housewares, I want you to think about stickers, pins, tattoos, and actually patches. Okay, so you can make and sell stickers. You can have sew-on patches, temporary tattoos, and pinback buttons as low-cost items that fans can buy to support you. It's all about establishing that relationship with your fans, and they also work as a free merch giveaways at in-person events and gift with purchase items to accompany other merch sales. Let's say you have an item that costs a lot more. You can actually give this as a giveaway and actually focus on the sale of the primary item. So consider other small items that you can make and sell as merch for TikTok. So for instance, you have keychains, you have pins, enamel pins, earrings, and pencils. All are inexpensive items that can be printed, handmade, or hand customized. You can also try art prints. So this is another possibility in terms of revenue generation. Okay, so art prints are really popular, especially if you have a young audience and primarily female. Okay, female, and because that audience actually is also hanging out on Etsy. So the ability to get things done from Etsy to a TikTok, that ability, that flexibility, it can be really powerful in terms of revenue generation. Okay, so art prints are great. Art prints are another ideal merch option for artists, illustrators, and designers. I mean, if you want to go with an art print, you got to have a certain talent for the whole art thing, you know. And the thing is that if you're an artist and a pretty well established one at that, many of your fans will be unable to afford original work, but you can sell art online through reproductions or prints. So this is something to really think about. And again, I just finished an entire show on how to sell art online this year. So in terms of monetizing your TikTok audience, remember what I told you a little earlier, that it's all about solidifying that relationship with your fans. It's about following what they like and what they don't like. Another way to actually monetize your merch or your TikTok merch is actually to make phone cases and tech accessories, as well as niche products for a niche audience. So when I speak about phone cases and tech accessories, you are looking at items that are pretty personal, pretty easy to do. That's really important, pretty easy to do. So making your own phone cases is very easy with print-on-demand companies that do the work for you, right? You do not have to buy any kind of inventory or have a back office logistics supplies or equipment. No, you just outsource the whole task to a print-on-demand company. And so this is actually a common merch item used to showcase artwork and branding that fans carry with them everywhere. Okay, and so the only downside is the number of phone models on the market. So if you're looking to make and sell phone cases, research the top phone models to keep your offering focused, because otherwise you'll be doing a case that nobody can use, right? And you do not want to have that. So this is important. So consider other tech accessories like watch bands, for instance, luggage tags, laptop cases, keyboard covers, iPad skins, and gaming console stickers. So this is also can really help you. Also, you can have niche products for a niche audience. So when I speak about niche audience, I'm talking here about being very specific. Okay, if you make a mistake at this level, nobody's going to buy your stuff. So you got to be really careful. Okay, now the sky is the limit when it comes to selling merch on TikTok, right? It's all about knowing your audience. It's all about knowing what they are willing to buy is what they connect with, right? Because the whole thing is that the merch you are selling must resonate with your target audience. Otherwise, they're not going to buy that. And one thing I want to say here is that your merch store should be a reflection of your account's content and your own interest. Okay, and so if you do magic tricks on TikTok, consider selling branded playing cards, for instance. I mean, this can't really get as a niche as that. Okay, and so if you manage, let's say, a pet influencer, the True Star, try making and selling pet accessories like leashes and bandanas. That way, you are able to talk to your audience on a very personalized manner. So this is important, especially when it comes to monetizing your audience real fast. Now, one thing I want to say here is that you always have to be open to feedback. So when you actually issue merch, always be open to feedback. Your audience will tell you what's great, what's not, and how you can improve things. So you always want to keep a line of communication open so that if there's anything, people can get back to you and really give you feedback on the items that you are selling. So let me give you a few money making hacks here. When you think about making merch for TikTok, you want to really use a print-on-demand company. Okay, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't try to do things yourself. You can use there are print-on-demand companies that will do the work for you. So the easiest way to get started is to find a print-on-demand provider that can turn your designs into physical products like hoodies, water bottles, pillows, stickers, and hats. Right? And so there are plenty of these companies all offering a slightly different products and services. So this is something to really think about. And if you use Shopify, for instance, as an e-commerce platform, the Shopify App Store has several options that integrate directly with your store, including Printify. So this is kind of cool. So how does everything work? Well, you want to install the print-on-demand app in your Shopify store. You want to submit your designs to the POD company per the instructions they provide. And you always want to follow their instructions. And you want to add your new designs using mockup photos to your store as products and set prices. And so when a customer places an order in your merch store, the print-on-demand company prints and ships their product directly. So you are still in control though, but basically the back office is actually done by a third party. So you just focus on branding. So that's kind of cool. So you want to, and so that's the first thing. Set up your TikTok shop, right? You want to actually create your own merch by hand. So that's kind of cool. I mean, you are able to have control over the creative process and the quality of the final products. On the other hand, there are more upfront costs, and this process requires more of your time. So if you really care about how your merch looks like, then you go this route. And you can also collaborate with existing brands. So you can team up with a complementary brand already making great products. If you have influenced a larger engaged following, it'll be easier to approach brands for a partnership, especially if your audience aligns with the brand's target audience. Okay, so you are able to get things done a lot faster. And it's one of those things where you want to make sure that there is like your brand, that your merch resonates with your audience, especially when it comes to branding, when it comes to your brand. Okay, that's really important from an affordability point of view, but also scalability point of view. So selling merch, when it comes to making merch for TikTok, you once you have created branded products, it's time to sell your merchandise, right? That's how you're going to make revenue. So you are able to actually go through a lot of avenues for revenue generation. The best way to get full e-commerce features is to actually set up a Shopify store, a BigCommerce store, a Magento store, a WooCommerce store, or what have you. You can then add the TikTok sales channels. This will allow you to sell places other than the TikTok app and sync sales and inventory too. Okay, an own website means you'll be able to build a mailing list that you own, and you need that sort of ownership. So that's the first thing. You want to set up your TikTok shop, and you want to add your merchandise. So add your merch, add products your Shopify and TikTok stores manually or by importing them from your print-on-demand app. Okay, and you also want to start promoting your merch. I mean, because the whole thing is you can have a wonderful product. I mean, don't get me wrong, the product is great and whatever, but if you don't promote it, nobody knows about it. People can't really buy it. Okay, so letting your followers know that you have added products for sale is an important first step. in selling actually merch on TikTok, right? So the best way to actually do this is by creating a TikTok video or videos to announce the launch of your merch store and more videos for subsequent merch drops. So you are constantly trying to engage your audience so they know that you are creating something very wonderful. So let me give you a few tips when it comes to promoting your merch via TikTok. You want to hype the launch of your merch shop before it's live. So start promoting your merch in advance to get your audience excited for the launch, right? Don't wait until the last minute. And also you want to add a link to your bio, link to your store, link your store in your bio, or use a link consolidation tool so TikTok users can easily find your custom merch. That's what you want also, because otherwise you're not going to make revenue. Also, try limited time and limited quantity drops to create a sense of scarcity and urgency, like FOMO, like fear of missing out. You can create, and that will help you actually create a decent level of demand for your TikTok merch. Or you can try exclusive drops only for loyal followers who have subscribed to paid content. And consider also a live streaming to you can consider live streaming and unboxing after your order samples or when you have a physical inventory on hand, right? It's all about creating that sort of momentum, and you want to have that. And also, you want to promote your branded merchandise on social media platforms, on other social media platforms like Twitter, now called X. You can try, in, you can try Instagram. You can try YouTube. You can try Facebook, of all places. So it's all about spreading the word, right? It's all about spreading the word and making sure that you are always on top of mind when it comes to your audience, and that's what you want. You want them to really remember you, to know that you are there, that you are actually dropping pretty impressive products, and that's really important if you want to connect with your audience in the long run. So let me talk to you about monetization here. So basically, how do you monetize your TikTok account with merch? So you can sell products, right? So you can sell products on TikTok. That's something that you want to do. You want to start doing as soon as possible. And you can link TikTok to your online store or create shoppable content that can be purchased directly on the platform. So based on our experience, it's just a lot better to have your online store. That way you control the traffic, you control the data, you control the algorithms, you control everything. You have a list, okay, that you can really monetize. So you can set up an artist shop or sell clothing with your own designs, and that's really important, especially in the long run. And so now the thing is that there is no minimum number of followers needed to sell merch on TikTok, right? I mean, it really makes sense that if you have let's say a large audience, this will be a lot easier for you to when it comes to promoting your merch and make sales. That's for sure. So even if you have let's say 5,000 or 7,000 followers, you can still sell merch on TikTok. But the more followers, the better. Okay. But the cool thing is you want to have engaged followers, not just followers. You want your followers to be engaged. Okay. And also, it is totally legal to sell merch on TikTok. So just make sure that it is in sync with the platform's terms and conditions. In other words, don't sell items that are questionable, that have content that is questionable, right? And so you want to also comply with any applicable laws and regulations that apply to the products you sell in the markets you sell to. It's all about looking at the jurisdiction to make sure everything is in sync. Also, the thing is that selling merch on TikTok is profitable if you know how to do it. If you are able to connect with your audience, if you're able to sell fast, if you're able to have constant promotions, if you're able to constantly engage with your audience. Okay. The thing is that this is actually a profitable business, but you gotta first build your own brand. Building your brand is really critical. You gotta also find the right marketing strategy and nail your pricing, because you're not the only one. You have a lot of players on the market. So how do you differentiate yourself? So profitability actually depends on several factors, including keeping costs low and actively driving traffic, right? Also, making sure that your audience is engaged. And selling your own branded merchandise is a low risk way to test products and make money actually in a sustainable manner on TikTok. So here's a closure to this conversation. I spoke to you about how to make merch for TikTok. I give the considerations, the top ideas, the money making hacks, the selling merch process, the monetization, and other closure. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.